Alright, ladies, gentlemen, members of the Terran Republic and New Conglomerate, this is Planetside 2, the closed beta, and this I'm going to release as a bonus video alongside the usual Secret World release day, kind of give you a clue what's coming up, and also because I really want to show this one off. So I got the closed beta last week. I've been playing around a little bit, a little less than I would have liked to. Yes, it's only about a rank 4. But, you know, so far, what I've gotten to play in, I've absolutely adored, and it's caught a lot of the feel of the original game, along with a whole bunch of improvements to kind of bring it up to more first-person standards, more on that in a bit, and also to bring it more up to date with the current trends within first-person shooters, as well as MMOs, in fact. So first up, and this video is going to be as long as it is, I'm not timing it. We're just going to do stuff. Because that's the whole point. I'm Area, and I do stuff. We're doing stuff. Let's hit the create character. So you can choose between the Mighty Vonu Sovereignty, the Smurfs, or the Elmos. And as you can see, these guys are really uptight and imperialistic, and these guys are a bunch of rednecks, and these guys are like artisans and technological geniuses, and obviously that's the faction you want to choose. So let's go. Then you select the servers, and I'm currently playing on EU Beta 1 because and then you can choose whether you're white, black, Asian, or I guess Hispanic. Well, yeah. And then you enter the name. So we're not actually going to do that. I got a character, it's fine. So let's hop in, and here's a load screen that advertises the Alpha Squad, which I haven't gotten it yet, but I'm very much considering it because that price is worth it, if only for that. I mean, what the hell? And we're all going to use that. Plus you get some camo, plus you get that, plus title, that 6-month 10% XP and resource boost, that is huge. And 12 weapon unlocks, that's a nice time saver. You know, that is one hell of a package right there. I mean, ladies say that to me all the time, but I'm saying it about a game right now. The loading screen is unfortunately long. Now, let's see. The good points about this game. One, even when it was still in alpha, this game was more polished than some games that hit retail, okay? It already feels like a finished game, and it's still being developed, still being added to, still being expanded. Certifications, which was something from the original, are still being added. Obviously, you got a lot of AFKs and people being idiots down here. I'm guessing they've just done an invite wave. Yep, the idiots are out in force. I'm going to run up here so we can get some quiet. Use the sprint key, in fact. So, I get to run this mostly on the high settings. I do have one or two things turned off, one of which is the motion blur, mostly because it kind of pisses me off a bit. Somebody is a clown. So, okay, we're talking about the plus points to this game. Aside from the fact it's awesome, the other big thing is that the developers not only care about making a great game, they care about being able to play that great game, because they are all active members of the community. They play this game. In interviews, you get smack talk and just fights out of like faction rivalries, and it's absolutely brilliant. You know, all of those guys play the game, they're gonna be playing the game, and that puts it head and shoulders above a lot of other things. They're also really, really close with the community, so they know what we as players actually want. They're not just guessing. They talk to us, they know from themselves playing it, hey, this is a bit weak, this is great, and all of that stuff. So, you know, that I can't fault them so far, and the game itself is just really fun, engaging. You can pick it up for 5 minutes or 5 hours, doesn't matter, and you can just have good fun with it. And the beauty is, a new character can technically compete with even the most established players. Like, there's no levels in the game. All you do is unlock things, like new equipment. And there's no reason that a new player, if they outskill someone, can't be the guy with the big gun. It's all about how you play. There's no thing that says, haha, you cannot even hit me and you do 2 damage to my impressive 20,000 health pool. No, there's none of that. A shot will kill. Okay? So we're going to just look at the equipment terminal, and as you can see, I've been rolling a medic because, well, disappointingly, my leveling isn't as quick as in the first game. I had this beautiful thing where I just ran around with a repair tool in one slot, an engineering tool in another slot, and then never actually really fired a shot. I just hid behind everybody else, healed them, fixed their armor, and then I just racked up the XP. Because in this game, well, in the first game at least, you got XP if that person whose life you just saved ran off and got a kill. You got XP for it. Repair armor, you get XP for it. Repair the health and armor of like 20 people, you are rolling the XP. That was great. So we're not going to start with the infiltrator, although it is the lightest armor. We're going to start with the light assault. And this is a guy who can carry that, carry one of those, so just a rifle, sidearm, and he has a jump jet. That's kind of cool. It's great for mounting walls. This guy's kind of get in, get out quick. Isn't really up for taking the punishment, but can deal punishment, and he's difficult to pin down. Heavy assault, of course. Oh, he can carry a rifle. He can carry another rifle. That's actually like a light machine gun, and that's kind of rocket launcher. So he's got some anti-armor capability, and he can pop up a shield, okay? He's meant to take a bit more punishment. And unfortunately I can't customize any of them yet, but you know, it's custom helmets, armor, camo, and decals which you can put on, and that'll add something to your individuality. And of course, if you're into really beefy armor, just go for a mech suit, right? And this looks like, I didn't notice it before, but it looks a lot like the MJ-12 troopers out of Deus Ex, something that you're going to be seeing soon. So look out for that one. And essentially what a mech does is, you're like a walking tank. You're not as tough as a tank. You can be run over by a tank. But, you know, you see one of these coming at you properly equipped, and as you can see, I was taking on tanks previously. But hook it up for anti-infantry. You see one of these marching in the door. Well, I'd say you hesitate. Frankly, I'd just dodge around the corner, grenade that, and then, you know, pick it off piece by piece. And, yeah. If you're in a walking tank, you've got the advantage that you're hard as nails and you've got a lot of firepower, but at the same time, you're just a big walking target. So that's that. And you've also got the infiltrator, and their ability is to cloak. And in this game, you get a sniper rifle. They've combined sniping with the cloaker, which seems sickness. In the original game, you just got a pistol. And I remember, because the beamer was crappy, I took great delight in farming new conglomerate pistols so that I could just run up and one-shot people in the back of the head with them. Brilliant. But no. And it's not a perfect cloak. Yeah, like the more you move around, the more visible you are, and in this game, you can't just turn it on and leave it and go AFK. It's got a power usage. So it's balanced, and actually I've not had too much trouble, really. The cloakers, you know, they die just like everyone else. They can just shoot you from a further range. The big problem with them is people sitting in cheesy camp spots, but then there's no way that you can balance against that. No way. People will find them no matter what. So that's those classes. The support classes, the medic, which I've been playing, that's a kind of AoE heal, which is their special ability. And obviously they can also heal, they can revive, and you want a couple of these in your squads running around because they'll keep you going. And engineers is kind of like the medic, but for tanks, and also maxes. But they've got some cool abilities, which you can put down a turret. And we've done some really, really fun things with those. Like we're assaulting a biolab that was held by the Terran Republic, and they outnumbered us. So what did we do? we got a bunch of engineers and set up an umbrella of turrets around the outside of their spawn room to keep them penned in while we captured the whole base. I imagine they were pretty angry with us after that one. It worked though. So, that's the basics of that one for, you know, essentially stuff around snipe, quick, mobile, just, you know, light infantry. Big, beefy machine gun guy, walking tank, healer, and fixer-upper guy. For anybody who hasn't played this before, for anybody who has, there's several things that, you know, are of note. The melee weapon comes on a melee button now, a little bit Call of Duty style. Or Halo, if you're into that kind of thing. I'm not going to judge you. There's also currency, okay? Now, it's not so relevant with the infantry right now. I think it's being implemented on the maxes, hopefully, at some point. But if you spawn tanks and such, it will cost you various resources, and this Auraxium, as it's known, is used to unlock stuff in the store, which is over here. One thing I have unlocked is a nice beastie gun for the Mag Rider, because that's where I spend most of my time. I'm not really much on the ground war type of guy. I'm just medic. I like to heal everybody. It's fun. Yeah, and of course I haven't unlocked anything, but you can select the different weapons you want to use in that slot, different weapons you want to use in that slot. I guess you could select different weapons you want to use in that slot, but yeah. Just a quick petition to SOE. If you want to allow me to equip the engineering tool instead of the beamer, I wouldn't complain. I don't need the turret, just give me the engineering tool. Yeah, so that one's that. Unfortunately, we're not going to dive into any combat today. I'm going to do a dedicated combat thing where I literally just run around and go nuts. But I want to be sure that I can be in the middle of a colossal tank column to really give the effect. There's another equipment terminal. So down here, quickly, because this is easy to cover, you've got the big beastie transport, which can fit like a whole squad in it, and this also sets up as a spawn point. But a rather interesting thing that they've done over the original game is you can, you know, change out all your weapons. You can actually configure this to be a full-blown gunship, which is sweet, like Flying Fortress type thing, which is something, let's be honest, we all wanted to do. No, I guess he just quit. Can't res him. What a shame. He'll be dead forever. Over here, some tanks. So here's a basic crappy bike that you can use to get around. You can actually shove guns on this at some point if you unlock them. Sundera is like a ground version of the Galaxy Transport, the flying thing over there. Same story, you can fit a whole squad in it. Just cruises around. It's like a pimp wagon. You and your boys just go out for a ride, pick up some bitches, shoot some bitches. You know how it is. The paper tank. This is a light, crappy one-man tank, but packs a bit of a punch. It's good if you've got no friends, I guess. My personal favorite? The Mag Rider. Now this is all Vanu-specific stuff. I should make a note of that. The different factions, they all have their own weapons, their own look, all their own stuff. The same kind of roles, like the Terran Republic have the Prowler tank, which I don't know about in this game, but at least in the first game, it's like a three-person tank, had a lot of firepower, fired very quick. Trade-off was, of course, each of the bullets didn't do as much damage, whereas the new Conglomerate had the Prowler, which is more of a traditional hard-hitting tank, and that just blasted you with shells, had a punch, slow rate of fire, good armor. You know, they're all very, very balanced. Generally speaking, what you're looking at is the Terran Republic, or TR, will fire incredibly quickly. The new Conglomerate, or NC, will fire really hard but slow. TR being red, NC being blue. And then of course Vanu Sovereignty, or VS, the purple guys. Awfully Brazilian. Generally speaking, we just get really fancy crap. Like energy weapons, don't get bullet drop, So with the case of the Mag Rider, and I got my pimping gun on the top, this is a hover tank. So not only can it move forward, backwards, and turn left and right, you can strafe, you can go over water, and you can do all manner of fancy things. And a good Mag Rider pilot, which allegedly I used to be, I'm not actually going to buy one just because it'll cost me resources, and I will be playing this later, with a serious note to owning faces. I may or may not record that. You may see it. Who knows? Yeah. As a good Mag Rider pilot, will be capable of essentially circle strafing targets, not taking a hit, always keeping a line of fire on them, and weaving in and out of the obstacles. I mean, these things are incredibly maneuverable when they're in the right hands, and you can do some really fancy tricks. Like, I said fancy, right? Yeah. My first day in this, we were in a big tank column, and I actually made several tanks stop and just stare at me while I side strafed down a cliff, weaving around it, and they were just like, "Man, you're crazy. We follow in the road." Thing is, I got into the action way quicker, was blasting out the tanks, and they just drove through the wreckage like 3 minutes later when they actually caught up. One of the other tanks from the other factions would not be able to do that. This one can. The trade-off is, well, they all have trade-offs. They have advantages, they have trade-offs. I'm incredibly maneuverable. I can't take as much of a beating as, say, a Vanguard tank, which is the NC. I don't fire as quickly as the TR tank. You know, it's fine. It works. It works. So those are the ground vehicles. As I said, I'm not actually going to buy them. You will get to see them in action at some point. This is the down one. Why did I run into that? Because I'm downs. Yes. So, aircraft terminals are up here, and all the factions, the Mosquito and the Reaver, for anybody who played the first game, are now faction specific. Mosquito is TR, and the Reaver is NC. Makes sense. Mosquito was quick, maneuverable, fired fast, didn't pack as much of a punch as a Reaver, which was slower, armored, and, you know, kicked out a beating, but slow rate of fire. That's okay. And the following we get the Scythe, which, my first time trying to fly one of these, I lasted 5 seconds before I crashed into a cliff. It's quite unruly until you get the hang of it, but let me tell you, the pilots that I see from my faction who are flying around in these things, the good ones, they're incredibly good. And the maneuverability, because this thing can just break in midair, spin around, turn on a dime, and it just moves in a really odd way. I've got a really strange sound effect going on. Okay, that was odd. Yeah. So that's the Scythe, and the Liberator, of course, is, well, it's joint. Everybody gets one of these. It's a bomber, but you can set it up for all kinds of roles, and it's quite a mean little thing to fly around in. Nice little cruise around with your boys. I'd rather cruise around in one of them than a Galaxy if I was going airborne, to be honest. And there you can see a Liberator. So, as said, this video, we're not really going to be diving in, you're not going to get to see much stuff going. I'm going to do a tank video for sure. In fact, just my general combat videos, you'll see me in a tank at some point, because I'm just a tank pilot. Ooh, here's a guy. I'm healing you, boy. Hold still. Hold still. What do you say, bro? What do you say? Oh yeah. That was an introduction to healing. Hope you enjoyed that one. And yeah. So this is the Vanu warp gate. I don't really know what else I can tell you. What can I tell you? I can show you the map. Because this will be a nice surprise, and I'm guessing we're taking a bit of a kicking from the TR, who have a major faction advantage at the moment. It's funny, because for the last few days, we've actually been pushing them into a tiny little corner and laughing at them. Ah, that's people using the in-game chat and sounding like idiots. That's what the weird fuss is. Yeah, so unfortunately, the red area looked like how the purple area did. Actually, we've got an entire reverse here. Usually, because they've moved around the warp gates, okay? The NC used to be up here, the TR used to be down here, and Varna used to be down here. And the blue used to look like that. We used to... Well, actually, we used to give them a run for that money. I remember about 3 days ago, there was something like 26% Vanu, and the rest were up at like 35s. And TR were down in the corner, pushed right back, and Vanu were pushing out over here, and just giving them a massive run for their money. Incredible, actually. My phone just went off, so... Aha. Okay, I'm guessing I'm gonna be done soon. So, here's where we're at. This is the big area we've been running around. Then you zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. Epic scale. You're gonna see the combat. This makes Battlefield look like an old 4v4 server from Counter-Strike. The scale is incomprehensible until you're in the thick of it. And someone's being a clown and shooting me. Good job. Why am I using the knife? Aha. So I guess some of my key bindings got reset. Well, that's fine. That's fine. There we go. Ah. Medic AoE heal in action. So that'll do for now. That's a brief introduction. We'll do something a bit more fancy next time, but I just wanted y'all to see it. And it's a bonus video. Extra viewing. So, hit some buttons, provided you agree with the associated sentiments, and take it easy, people.